Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming, the Grand Arena focused podcast centered around the top 100 of Kyber 1, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am joined for, I want to say, our third ever live recording here on YouTube and Twitch by the full regular cast: Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, an interesting week on what was a very fun season. In the end, I had 9 real matches and went 6-3. I went 1-2 in this final week. One of those was probably unavoidable, to be honest, and the other one was I could have made a different preparation and probably had been just fine. But that's the short of it, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Dagger, how are you doing? How was the week? How was the season? Okay, dig that. Appreciate you. Hey, everybody out there in the chat. I see you guys. Swugga Player, Roar. Good to see you guys. Welcome. All right. TJ, how about you? The week, the season? Oh, crap. You can't hear them. Thanks for letting me know, guys. That. Oh, that should be set up early. But okay. Okay. Hey, appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Say that one more time, TJ.
Probably start with Dagger, right? Because I don't think they heard
I'll go
Dagger's
back to
things.
Dagger, but let's.
Minus the terrible dad joke. Leave that shit at the door, Dagger. Knock that off.
Fair. Yeah, Dagger gets a second try at a first impression. But no, how was your week again, TJ, for the folks at home? TJ, how was the week again?
Oh, it went shitty, man. 1-2, and then overall 4-5.
Wow.
Round 3, self-inflicted.
Man.
But we'll go over it.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah. All right. Back over
cool,
to you,
man.
Dagger, since I didn't have the audio capturing you the first time. How was your week?
Surviving the frigid temperatures and the ice. Went 2-1 this week for 7-2 overall.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, to you, Sasha. How did the week go, the season overall?
The week was pretty under-eventful, I would say. I went 2-1, but with only one real match, and it was with our friend Baby Yoda. And the downside of that was it really was determined by me taking the wrong capital ship, trying to get a battle in while boarding a plane, and made a mistake that prevented any shot I had at full clearing fleets. But otherwise, it was a fun match with Baby Yoda. And for the season, it was 6-3. But we have like a deluge of Herodiums, it looks like, dropping in at the top again. So that's the weather doesn't look quite as clear and sunny as I was hoping.
Agreed. Yeah, this happened to me this time last year, if you recall, where I got pushed out of the top bracket by Herodiums, and it took me like a few months, like 2 to 4 months, I wanted to get back in. So probably looking at something similar.
I will say I've changed the tag for my account. I think before I'd had Grizzled Veteran, and I changed it to Erodium Adversary because it just felt appropriate.
That's right. Yeah. Why not? You are the bane of Herodiums.
That's actually fantastic. That's actually fantastic.
I mean,
I was so pleased to find that among the options.
There have been seasons where I've had 3 or 4 real matches for the whole thing. So yes.
I know.
Yes. All right. Last but never least, Fatal. How was the week and the season overall?
Hang on. Have we considered that boarding a plane may have been what overrode your capital ship decision? You may have been correct, and the game was just like, oh shit, we're on a new capital ship now. So fuck. We're switching it up.
I think if the game saw the context and how I was, I would have said this guy shouldn't be taken serious to begin with. So let's just knock him below some of these Erodiums. So that's a very fair point. But yeah, self-infliction across multiple fronts.
Fair.
Yeah, speaking of self-infliction, 2-1. I am a broken record this season of I put myself in a situation with 2 drops in a context where it seems like it should be impossible for my opponent to lose, and so I start messing around. And then the final score arrives, and messing around is what made it impossible for my opponent to lose. So,
Damn.
I don't know. I like before set 25 hit, I think I had a stronger mental. Something about set 25 is just like driving me haywire at the moment, that I'm like trying to be a defense player, trying to be an offense player, don't really know what the fuck I want to be when I grow up.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to hash that shit out. I need to clean my act up because this should have been an IO season.
Did you self-talk to yourself, Fatal, like during the fight? Like, I'm gonna knock it off. Because I thought I heard you give yourself a speech of like, all right, I just need to stop, buckle back in. Something along those lines? Am I mistaken?
It's good to have aspirational goals, so that way if you fall short, you're still closer to where you want it to be.
Right.
Very good. All right, guys. Let's get into the first item. Now, I'm switching it up a little bit as far as order goes. Why don't we take, up to about 10 minutes sharing our thoughts overall about the season as an overview. So, I mean, yeah, it's interesting that later in the season, both Ahsoka and Pirate King were kind of gamed out, and there were players just like Barator here in the last round of the season for me that took both off of defense and made very effective use of them because for the first time in the season I'd set Leia on defense in the back. There were prizes abound, and it was a really good pivot. But overall, despite how overtuned set 25 is, everybody having perfect roles, it was really very fun. Like, they were all serious matches and not an erodium the entire time. That's kind of my overall feeling. Like, I had a good time. I don't know about you guys.
I enjoyed the season. I will say that, broken record here as well. I think that the Make Good ruined what otherwise was one of my favorite Datacron sets that they've made in recent memory. After the Attacker fix, right? Just because I felt like everything was so cool and balanced, and it's like, oh, never mind, guys, you have infinite rerolls. I guess nobody has crons. Let's check our mods out. But as far as the actual meta goes, I really enjoyed where it ended up shaping at towards the end, because you could very easily turn it into some like brawl, right? I found it relatively easy. Now, granted, I've finished the season like near 150, right? So I was kind of like, how does Fatal put it? Rank repair. That, I think, is what he calls it. But I definitely felt like I could meaningfully set a defense that would trip my opponent up, if not banner wise, coaxing a drop to make it easier for my own attack plan. So I really enjoyed how the meta ended. People didn't pull Ahsoka or Hondo against me specifically, so I can't speak to that. Although I did see an overall trend at the top kind of pointing towards that. But I enjoyed the season for what it was. Probably one of the more fun 5v5 seasons I can recall.
Yeah, I had a few really like fun novel counters that popped up over the wasn't entirely just perfecting the same counter over 3 weeks for the entire board. I can agree.
Yeah.
There was some real variety there. Fun stuff.
Found myself
I guess-
using teams I didn't normally use. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, dude, I think it's fair. I want you to finish your statement, Dagger, because that way
Oh.
mine's gonna be a polar opposite, and it's not towards
Oh,
anything
okay.
else. So it's like, go ahead.
I was going to echo Tass's sentiment. I found myself using teams I hadn't historically used on offense, like Mace and Bad Batch,
Yeah.
to pretty good effect overall. And learning kits is hard. I am really bad at this video game. I don't know what things do. I learned today that Wrecker dispels on basic. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead, TJ.
No, for the season overall, so getting to use old school teams like Troopers was one of my favorites again. Old school Night Sisters being in great shape again. Gas making Swiggle great again, doing the God's work. It was a lot of those things I agree with. Where my downplay goes in and made this really incentivized, at least how I really felt. Again, it could be whatever. Um, I completely felt penalized for the way I want to play, which is I just want to get in and play the game, and everything felt like it was hindered on who goes first basically loses if there is a mistake made, and now I get just to go 58, and it shows in the history of whatever I've seen. I live my own thing, so I was again. I could have waited, but of course, my peak interest would fight the game, and I'd want to try something, and then that would cost me, and that was pretty much the match. There was no way to get it back, and then this person would get to go do a 58 or whatever. And again, it wasn't the player; they're just going with the setup. But that is an overall frustration, and I think that just goes back to the make good. So once we're all aligned, if you want to try something, I felt penalized from the start because something wouldn't work or whatever else. Um, Other than that, I did. I thought it was a lot of fun being able to use some old school stuff and get to go back in the game or have fun undermining things or doing other thing else and seeing what was going to happen.
Fair. Appreciate that. Who's
I,
next?
you know, I had, I had fun in this meta. I think my biggest concerns were around this increasing tendency towards like super efficient play from a few of the top end competitive players that, and I don't fault them at all. Like, they're optimizing for their win chances. It's just that diverges from like how I enjoy playing the game.
Yeah.
But uh, the thing is, what the guys have said so far, I totally agree with, and I also thought it was just fun to see some of the FDCs playing like big roles in these like era of perfect stat datacrons that mechanics over stats still in many cases is so the way to go. Like you just look at, the punch up capability of the Rex FTC, some of the other stuff. So that was really exciting. The other thing that I'll throw out there, and I just had the most preliminary of tastes of this, but it was the benefit of going up against Baby Yoda this week. It was first week with the new Datacron set. Being available. I know it wasn't out for, acquisition through conquest, but Baby Yoda tends to, be on the very forefront there. And I faced on his defense, he had, I think, at least 3 of the new crons, including a really cool bounty hunter cron for his Jabba squad. It was neat to see. It was, so I think the next set, I know it's been called out. Maybe it was a little debated. Maybe it's not as impressive as the roll set and set. It was it 26 that we have now or 25, but it has some really neat combos in it, and that was kind of fun to see as well. So I guess bottom line, what I'm getting at is I liked the mix. I like the creative use of some of the mechanics, and I think there's exciting stuff to come with some of the new Datacron set too. So yeah.
Really, yeah. I think we'll end up talking about that in some more detail, and probably in much greater detail in the but
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, I'm excited. I'll be excited to hear what you have to think of that because I feel just like as it was fairly rare that you were using a set 24 Datacron while we have set 25, I expect it'll be largely the same with set 20. All right, Fatal, how about you? Your season retrospective.
The novelty factor is fun, but I think the actual layout of the meta, when people stop making mistakes, I think I prefer the game before set 25 rather than during, mostly because trying to figure out how to say this without, I actually almost don't even want to say it. There's stuff I have talked about in the podcast regarding this set when it originally came out, and I was more right than I thought. And I don't want to call attention to it because I think if it popularizes, I think this game will become a lot more miserable. So, yeah. I am kind of looking forward to set 25 disappearing just for my own purposes, so I can do my point chaser stuff. But yeah, I mean it's fun in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean,
Solid results.
certainly. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all I was really saying. It's fun. It's just I was having more fun before it came around. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going back, even though this is still solid.
Yeah, enjoying it for what it is. It's fine. But I do agree with you. There's not a lot of point of building mastery in a Datacron meta that we're very unlikely to have something similar again. This would be pretty poor odds. I
Especially
might
with
be
the
eating
changes
my
that they're
words there
making to the
at
Datacron.
some point in the future.
Yeah, especially with the changes that they're making to the cadence.
Fair.
I definitely don't expect to see I definitely don't expect to see many complex Datacron sets, since one of the reasons they're going to 3 is to lower their complexity.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, that is one nice thing. That's really like the one light at the end of the tunnel changes about the Datacrons is that it should be less challenging to go after the 369 that you're looking for, with it being much more limited in factions. Still, whatever about the stats. Yeah. Any other thoughts here on the season before we move on? All right. So, first item here in meta analysis, guys. The Stranger continued. So, Seabane works against basically every permutation of Stranger that I found, except for where Maul is. Maul lowers that win rate to about 10% or less, with the filters for what people are likely setting in terms of, Xeris being there. Cal was there sometimes it wasn't Cal. Either way, it wasn't really significant about the win rate. It looks like Maul just is the wrinkle that you're looking for. Jam up C Bane. So I didn't attempt that where I saw that specific composition. But what I did do was see Freya had some win history in week 2, where it was getting done successfully with high health and with the long tech support levels. I actually deployed that myself here in the last round of the season. And aside from Talon, predictably enough, dying, uh, we got it done. Like it was a 61 with Talon dying. So call it 62, 63 maybe. Had she held on, maybe even higher if I just left her on the bench. Um, but I was very impressed with how Treya held up. What's going on there? Again, the best results were with high health. Some people, like edge case wise, made it with high protection, but health seemed to be the key. And yeah, that's what I learned this fighting Ranger. Anything new from you guys?
I found overwhelmingly that my opponents were generally incapable of cleanly beating it. It was beaten a couple times, don't get me wrong, but man, I know you looked at some of the stuff on your stream of people taking like 9 attacks to take it out,
Yeah.
and they were all meta teams. Like my experience fighting against the team was that I had opportunities to experiment because I could 2 or 3 shot it relatively comfortably. And by that I mean like if I failed, it didn't matter because my opponent failed because I was able to set something strong enough to force drops. I do agree. I think Maul ended up being the scariest piece there because Seabane was just. I fought one Malicos and it was like absurdly easy. With Seabane, I mean both mine are R10, but like I don't think that matters as much. And then if Xeris isn't on the team, you can just jam Emmett pretty smoothly. If their Stranger's the weakest and there is no Xeris, that fight is like LOL levels of easy. I didn't feel like Cal made a huge difference as the light side Ufu. So maybe in the Treya matchup it does, just from like the passive healing to just time you out more. But yeah, I feel like Maul and Xeris are the two, and you're just trying to figure out who your light side Ufu is. Although it'll be other Maul going forward. I was just reflecting on this previous season. Going forward, we'll have other Maul.
In the in that spirit that Dagger was calling out of like this team just holding pretty well on defense, or at least putting a hell of a tax on the banners of the other side or forcing them to break it down. I set mine in the back wall and was comfortable that I would get a drop two or something, but from my opponent. So when I took on their stranger, I wanted to see, hey, kind of just break this down relatively cheaply. It allowed me to set a stronger D. And I considered a couple of approaches because I was facing a comp again with Barris. I looked at doing a Riva one and just saying, can I like at least get a death mark out there and break some of the synergies? So going in for a second attempt on a multi-shot, feeling pretty confident. And I ended up instead going with, it was Treya, Nyla, Savage, Talon, and Darth Vader with a Darth Vader cron. And with the real goal being, I want to at least take somebody out. And I was able to take Xeris out. And that squad had a Xeris cron. And I enjoy playing that way. Strategic multi-shots, letting you feel a little more confident in your own defense because you can go cheap on a few fronts on offense. So I was able to set more on D. And I came up so that worked, and then the multi shot was relatively cheap. But the impression I came out of it, just overarching, was like, this is a really good team. It's propped up by Xeris a bit, but like that's with like the Mandalorian Maul on it. You put Spider Maul on it, like this thing is going to be really formidable, and that I'm excited for.
Yeah. And admittedly, Mace only works with the attacker cron because they get to ignore taunt. So, like, one of the cheaper counters that works against non-Barris only works because of the attacker cron. So,
okay.
Yeah.
PJ, Fatal thoughts? Yeah.
Just use bad batch, man. I said it would probably be pretty easy once Crosshair was weakest, and yeah, they were dead within 20 seconds.
Now, did you get to test that against any variety? Was it against Malicos? Was it against Maul?
Does not matter.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure they were Malicos in both cases, but like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Again, they're Stranger goes once, gives you 4 bonus turns, they're dead. That's it.
Okay. All right. Now, just based on what you held in your memory so far about Spider Maul, you think that Fugitive Omega has a chance against the full ensemble when we come back? Fives?
I will have to review the kit as we get closer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's possible, it will probably be a brawl, and the bouncing taunt is certainly a concern.
For resetting all your target lock and all.
Yeah. There's some shit that I forgot. Hunter goes infinitely buff with them all unique. That shit is almost impossible to predict, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Any other comments here on fighting the Stranger, guys?
I think it's going to get easier once they get Maul. Because I'm not saying that Spider Maul is bad. I just think he has a kit that is more exploitable, especially once you hit him like once or twice, forcing you to go after Star Kill, which is what you kind of want to do anyways. So I think he's a more exploitable, and watching him in the raid, he leads with the raw ability. So I think like on defense, he doesn't lead with the big hit. Or I actually don't know. When I use him in the raid, he doesn't lead with the big hit. So I guess I don't know what the defense AI does. So I just think he's going to be easier to exploit than Maul, who does AoE, then 5 pushes.
I will state for my record that Maul is a deeply fucked up unit, I think.
Oh, he's insanely good.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, not trying to argue that. I'm just saying, like, his kit just feels like it's when you're playing against it, it feels more exploitable.
Well, next item, guys, here in meta analysis. Just briefly here from me about fighting Jabba with Cad Bane. So full on Jabba. And I set my Lord Vader on defense this round. I could have used Mother Talls in there if I wanted to risk it, but Afra with, again, long tech support cron, and it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter if it's light side, if it's dark side, whatever the thing is. The secret sauce is the long text level 6. Because let me tell you, I went in there with something incredibly bootleg for what we're trying to do. It was a dark side, max health damage level 3. So that was useful to us. Long text support level 6 with like a high tenacity stack, which is completely useless in the face of the enemy support cron. And then a good chunk of protection, like, I don't know, almost 100% protection. So neat, right? Yeah, BT1 got exploded immediately, but we survived long enough to bring him back. And then we got a chance to actually do some damage with Darth Vader. Darth Vader, by the way, unsung hero of the fight.
Dude got hard targeted for like minutes at a time, enabling that counter to work.
That's right. No, dig this. That's right. Round 2 of this week is when I did it with the support crown, and I finished with like a 63. That was with IPD and B2. Round 3, I did it with an attacker crown with the Darth Vader, and we very much Darth Vader held on virtuously, got to his turn, and we were able to bot people off. He got like 3 cycles of Merciless Massacre, and yeah, man, that was pretty cool. So Afra got some service here late in the season on offense. I had a lot of fun with that one. Any new notes from you guys fighting Jabba this week? I know it's a pretty developed fight as far as its counters, but figured I'd ask.
The Cad Bane version on defense with Jabba lead is still pretty ass if you're trying to like do Night Sisters or the JMK. Because, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. You have to take Daka as the 4th, and then it's fine-ish, right? It's whatever. But yeah, it's that Boba team was so bad. I lost to it a couple times experimenting, but yeah, that Boba lead Jabba team just didn't feel very good.
I was just a fan of using Boba to kill the Jabba.
Or that, yeah. I just think Jabba was not the thing I was worried about going from like matchup to matchup, because I just knew I was going to get it down one way or another, easy way or the hard way. It goes back to what I was saying before about having or what Sasha mentioned as well, feeling like you had a buffer to where you could just experiment because you just knew that you had like, even going first, I just knew I had the ability to experiment based on the strength of defense set. I mean, that still cost me 1 loss, but generally on the whole, I didn't find Jabba to be a determining factor for any of my like GAC rounds.
Okay, fair. Any other comments here about fighting Jabba, guys? Right. Next item here about Pirate King Hondo Onaka. So double tank, single tank, doesn't matter. There was no composition that I could fight where I wasn't going to win with gas 501st or gas Krex. If you need the Krex somewhere else, know that you're giving up about 3 banners. Like, you can expect about a 63 with Krex, something like that. Maybe occasionally you'll get like 64, but it's mostly 60. Whereas if you do full 501st, it's just straight up 60. Like, you will win. I did it. It was very, very straightforward, and I don't think there's a terribly easy way to lose that. Now, I want to say maybe the banners could have been better in round 3 had I used 5's Cron. I used the Rex FDC, and that was certainly an easy way to do the fight, but I remember seeing it was successful with the 5's Cron, long text tank level 6, and yeah, that would have been, if it goes well, that's kind of like a 63, 64 on its own without using Krex. So that was a good little piece of learning, because last week, it was gospel. You're trying to do this, you want to have Krex. So good to know. By the way, yeah, saw more data. I know I saw that you did this, Fatal, and I saw other people pull this off looking at data. Krex does make things easier using Saw Krex against JMM teams, but by no means is required. And you can expect, in the best case, to be about a 60 without it. But yeah, that's it for me on that. What do you guys say about that? I know, TJ, you have a point we'll expand on. We'll get to that in just a second.
Oh no, I know the other piece of it, but I was trying to see how thick they could get with this your team still. And I was able to pull it off. And then when I wasn't, I was just playing with it. That ended up costing me the match because I know you could do it with gas,
What
right? And it
happened
was
to
like,
you?
so I
You've
want to
been
see how.
so successful with it. You got the Malicos locked down, or they just whooped his ass? What was the story?
No, not taking a dispel, you can really feel that because, like, what I figured out, what we talked about, and I saw the data that kind of supported it. Mara Jade is your other dark side Ufu for the dispel, comes in really handy. When you don't have the dispel, you just feel like all of the things, and you even with Malikos there, you can just get timed out. The round three, what caught me was they basically just went around picking apart the team. And you just that's the opportunity that can happen no matter what you try to put on it. Um, I will say Fulcrum there is amazing. It will delete characters left and right, and that was a lot of fun. That was part of the fun of it. Malikos does his job, but what happens is if you break the train, like they take out Mary J, they take out other things you're trying to do with the fight, then their team just ramps over you, and that's exactly what it was. It had nothing to do with Malikos. Actually, never got locked out once for me. Surprisingly enough, I never, knock on wood, but whatever was working for the first 2 weeks did not from the third. Just round two or round three. Round two, no dispel, but round three, they killed Mara Jade. Turn one, she was dead, and then it was just walking around the board plucking my team out, and it can happen, right? You can get that going, but when it works it's amazing, and then that still gives you gas tracks for something else because again we talked about it. Gas is just like an MVP where you put them with cracks. That's a super soldier 65.
You're here,
You're
by the way.
you can easily walk away.
To the blessed resurgence of gas, being
So
useful.
that's what I mean. And I had the tool, and that's what I said. Round three for me, it would be the loss because I wanted to see how thrifty I could get with Seer and really explore because Starkiller's gone. And right now, Maul is gone. Obviously, he comes back, but I was like, how far can I go with this? And he was killing Pirate King, which is just phenomenal. But yeah, that's it, man. No loss in Malikos, but man, they take away your turns. You really feel the impact of what your team, and they just sit there.
No doubt. How about the rest of you gentlemen? Any new notes from the front on fighting Pirate King?
The CLS thing was blocked with double tank.
I did get, I want to say, obviously at the time of our recording here, we don't have the updated Swagger.gg data, but I do believe I had two opponents attempt CLS against my Pirate King. One of them did drop, and the other one got like a 57. So very satisfied with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and if people wanted to, just looking at how the fight looked as when someone did it, if they wanted to sear it, they could. But I feel like there was enough people setting bootleg rays and Rivas to where that wasn't really when I say bootleg, I just mean like some sortie, Cal, GK, whatever, just stuff.
Sure. Fair enough.
And I found myself just using him as kind of a Swiss Army knife to just kill a lot of stuff. I mean that, and he kills like Ray plus Ezra for like 58 to 62 banners. Not that it's great banners, but
yeah, roughing it without Cal, right?
No, I had Cal for it most of the time.
Oh, okay. Even with, so yeah, that's possibly doomed to fail without Cal.
Oh yeah, I would not. I don't think. I think I actually did try it and lost without Cal, and then I pulled Cal.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Anything else, you guys? Pirate King. Very good. TJ had a point he wanted to talk about now related to this. So now for the future of Pirate King, now that the Pirate Datacron is done, see him being on attack or defense. He was a lock here, especially in week 3, to kill all variations of Ranger. And just possible thoughts on compositions for what you might change depending on what offensive match you're looking to apply him in. If or defense, what does the future hold? Do you think the expiration of the Pyrocron, we need to look at compositions a little differently for some reason? What say you, gentlemen?
I think that people are going to hold him or Stranger, because I think he's going to be Stranger with Spider Legs. And then the real question becomes, does Maz get to draft her team first because her team is actually doing meaningful tasks? Or are you just going to use whatever Hondo team that you... Basically, it's how bad of a Hondo team do you need outside of Silvo Brutus Vayne?
My
Or Silvo,
understanding is
right?
you
Like,
just take the one tank with Vayne as far as offense goes. You don't have a need to hit double tank Pirate King to
no,
take out
I know,
Stranger.
but I'm asking who that fifth needs to be on that team. Doesn't need to be Hondo,
Yeah.
Smee. If it doesn't matter, then Maz gets to draft her team first.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought right now, right? Because obviously, super pirate cron. Even when we had the support stuff like that, there's just nothing's gonna top with the damage and everything with the pirate. So it's like modding and everything else. It feels like we get to revert back to kind of like our original discussion, and I saw it very cleanly that it kills the stranger, and obviously like what Dagger said, right? It's like we need a clean answer. It's like Pirate King. I really do feel like whatever you're going to try to do, Pirate King is going to be the answer to a lot of things. And it's just like he's got the Swiss Army knife character set, including even with the DCs now, you can go support. You're going to be just fine because you have your Pirate King your support. If you're going to do the tank cron, you've got some of my opinion, and I think we've talked about it. Some of the best tanks in the game can easily go on that team. You've got every which way you want to cut that setup. You got some of the best attackers, right? Smee is amazing. You put Brutus in there, Brutus is a monster as well. So that's what I mean by the Swiss Army knife of the setup. So it's like, what do people think they're going to be doing with them now that Super Pirate Hondo is gone? Because that not necessarily Pirate King Hondo, but like the Super Tank Crash. So I want to see what everybody was thinking about it. Kind of moving to next five because I really feel like he's going to be a sleeper and people won't give him enough respect for what he's able to achieve.
I think a good part of his applicability, you're not showing him on either front zone. How are you setting up your board bottom front where they feel like they're going to have to save for whatever it is that they are going to use, on your baby Pirate King in the back that isn't there? So how do you, that's where the meta is going to have a real consideration for. Am I going to keep him for offense? Well, what can I do with the false draw? Can I game somebody out of something good there and then have them, save whatever their designated counter was and not have it be useful against any of the three? That would be a pretty big factor.
I think for myself, I'm just going to assign Seer to it because that way you can't do that to me. Just from like what you're saying, because I expect people to do it to me. And if I just save Seer, as long as the attacker cons exist, if I save Seer, I don't care. Like, it's going to kill something in your back wall. I can pivot. But that is a good way to look at it. I also think that we're going to see more Maz on defense with Hondo because Maz with Hondo historically has made Bane a little harder. Or not Bane, Balin a little harder because people don't like to bring a second tank a lot of the time and then flip the coin on who gets handcuffed. So I'm curious to see how some of that stuff works itself out because I do expect to see a lot more Maz on defense with Hondo being pulled just because she gets to draft a better team. God, I've been talking to Livid and Spock too much.
I will shout out. I do actually think IG90 looks to be a decently promising unit for what I do not know, but I do think he is in the market for OG Hondo.
Interesting. Okay, that's kind of cool, and I really do like what a fantastic thematic execution, Hondo. That he is like a highly desirable plug and play in like 4 separate teams, 4 or 5. Really, really good. Sorry, continue, please.
No, I 100% agree. These things always sneak up on you too, right? But like, whether it was Cat or C3PO or anything like that, CG can be very sneaky about sticking the dagger in. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I mean, broadly, it just
I didn't.
There you go.
No, I said I didn't do shit. You said sticking the dagger in, and I just said I didn't do shit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just broadly, I think he's like the only real access to cleansing that the team has. Obviously, his tool set for like handcuff is always a nice thing to have, but then also because of the whole crit speed up thing, you can possibly do something like match start call IG90 to assist, which would give him speed up if he crits. So make sure he crits. That would give him speed up, and then he would mass assist at his increased speed, which would then cause everyone to crit and give them speed up. And just there's a lot of small, interesting cascading effects like that that I think just sound fun. I don't think OG Hondo's like a hard requirement, but look, man, if I see a Maz on defense with OG Hondo, I'm gonna Queen Amidala in for 67. It is what it is. Thank you for the +2 banners.
Oh,
yeah.
really? So you doing the 3 versus 5, you never have found yourself punished waiting out the kidnap.
The kidnap goes on to the decoy who cannot be kidnapped.
Really? Really?
Yes.
Yes.
That is
Something
goofy.
something doesn't. Yeah, something doesn't ignore taunt.
Really? That is goofy. All right.
The man does not have a lightning rate. It built into his
True.
kit. Maybe he should.
True.
One might say.
Yeah. No, okay. That's helpful. All right. Yeah. I mean, Dagger kind of pinged on this earlier, but another point here from TJ. Same for Maz. So most of us have been using her on offense. Take out Sith teams. You occasionally see it on defense, but hasn't really been all that big of a problem, in my opinion. Still, is she going to see use here in a post set 24 world? Is she going to be
Yes.
on the bench? How are we employing her?
Yeah, she still kicks the shit out of a lot of stuff that I see on defense.
Yeah, I don't think her ability to crush Sith is dependent on the Krons. But
Well, I just mean beating things that aren't even Sith, that are just. She's just another team that you can rotate to free up a bet. Like, for example, there were things that I used Queen against I could have used Maz against and moved Queen someplace else.
like what, for example?
Like JMM, Saw. Right? Like, there's just a lot of things you can use it against that I just don't think you need to use it against.
When you
I
say
put mine
that
on
you can
defense.
use it, what kind of banners are we talking about? Because if it isn't like 60 plus, I have to kind of avoid it like the plague.
I mean, you could just set a better defense.
Say that, but some people save a lot.
I see some of the shit you set, man. You
Some
can set
people
a better
save a
defense.
lot.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. No, honestly, I'm trying to think. I think I spent it on defense all week 3, and I think that I ended up not using it very much on offense the first 2 weeks.
Same.
Because
Yes.
I ended up oversaving, and I set just a gauntlet of a defense the first couple weeks, and I still found myself using teams like OG Night Sisters and stuff like that reliably to the point where I just didn't need to see if Maz was going to get me 65. Right?
Very fair. Yeah.
I have a history of Maz getting me like 61 to 62, so I tend to do other teams before her that are more reliably 65s. So to that end, I don't know.
Thoughts from the rest of you gentlemen? Anything tickling your instincts about how to play Maz in the near future?
I've been
I think
posting
there's a
her all
reason.
season.
Sorry.
I've been posting her all season with Healer Crown, so nothing really changes for me.
Yeah, I think she's going to get really strong on defense really fast because she does require one of like the 3 or 4, like, I'm going to call them marquee B teams, right? So you can beat her just fine, but you also need those teams to beat most of the other teams you're going to set. So
This was a good season for Balin Einon, and thinking about how to set a defense that forks Balin near future probably has some merit. So
yeah.
Okay.
One other thought, I did not use her this way ultimately, but it was in the back of my mind when I looked at setting Maz, because I like some of the punter viability, particularly with a healer Chrono Kixer. But I had her on my like break glass list for like stranger squads as well. I talked about using Treya before and thinking about Riva of like, okay, if I'm going to multi-shot a stranger squad, she seemed like a good option with the stranger being Sith and a shot that like, look, I can probably get a couple of good swipes in on the stranger. May have to kill him twice if it's a healer cron that's set there, but hopefully she can at least start the breakdown process. Not for an efficiency match because you're likely to get a drop, but that was at least just one other consideration for her. Over to you, Fatal.
I don't really have anything to add that I did already add, or sorry if I.
No, we didn't hear
We're
from
still talking
TJ
about-
Oh,
yet
sorry.
on
I thought
this
I
point.
thought I cut you off. That's why.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
I do think the
no.
Stranger disproportionately benefits from this Crown season.
Okay, sorry. I had to answer it, so I have to verbally confirm. Is this question still about Maz Kanata?
Right now, in this moment,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I read it with Healercron. I mean, it's there to banner attacks. If it happens, it happens. I know like quite a few opponents just use Balin for 65, so not great, not terrible. It's a +0. Like, sure, I take that trade. I will say, the hardest part about the season and the hardest part of the next season for me is going to be figuring out who is worth saving and who is worth spending on, because this season was incredibly painful for me of like, again, right? It was a feast of the season of like, look at all these value trades I've got. I'm gassing on Hundo and blah, blah, blah. And then you reach like 7 teams remaining, you've still got 11 power teams, and you took some bannership, and you just feel like, I feel like I have been duped almost of like the value trade was not value. That it was ass. And now I'm like, I'm either using Queen Amidala to kill a Grievous, and that just feels awful, or I mean, she could do it. Like I got a 68, but what are we doing? Like, and so to that end, Maz Kanata, she might serve in a similar vein as Balin to me, and that it's nice to just have okay, you posted Treya, I'm gonna like Athano maybe like 2 or 3 man you and see if that shit works and pick up a +2 is like a pretty decent value proposition. That yeah, I think next season for me is gonna take like a serious re-examination at what goes on defense, what goes on offense, what gives good coverage. Because I had like a couple decent battles. I had like a 58 hold to Riva, which not exactly known for the good banners right now, although Barris might change that here very shortly. I also had a 62 from Seer. Again, not really known for good banners, so is what it is. I guess they just saw the Healercron and thought, haha, healing immunity DI, but still bad banners. So, yeah, I'm not telling you that she's sick. I'm not telling you that she's bad. It's just, she is.
So, semi-related. It depends on how flexible she is with the roll crons going forward and in the next set. Because I think this last week I said something like 6 GLs and then some combination of Riva, Queen, Great Mothers. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of just set the house to a degree and still had shit left over at the end. So I don't, to Fatal's point, I don't know how to properly evaluate her on offense, because need is not always the reason you save something. Sometimes you save it because it's +2 banners as opposed to a better counter. So it would be more of you would save it as an assassin for Treya if somebody set Treya. Otherwise, it would go on the bench. Right? So I guess I'm not good at evaluating that stuff yet, whereas Fatal's way better at evaluating that stuff. But yeah, good food for thought for sure, listening to this.
And TJ, this was kind of your subtopic here. Anything you wanted to throw in on your thoughts with Oz? Yeah?
I think the Maz, the reason I wanted to bring it up too is obviously because of the set diet, but also, I guess the Maz break glass. I think I actually did that, Sasha, to your point, as it was a nice, clean substitute because obviously we double tanked that with Maj, you don't really need the tank and you can still succeed. So to what Fatal said of being able to underman, it feels pretty solid setup because they have such good choices, right? Putting in a nest can obviously have some good effect. Obviously, Hondo is going to be good there, but the other piece I go back to is Pirate King, and I go to this piece saying, if he goes on offense, do you really need a full team? Because he's got some really good supporting cast, and the revive mechanic allows you to exploit a lot to where you could get better banners and just take less. You may take longer while you're building up all your profit and everything else, but by the time it's done, he's doing so much depending on what you're putting with him. That could be all it takes, and you're getting your 67 against what could be a good team. So I would so there's a lot to explore there, and why I wanted to bring up the topic because if he does stay on offense now, I've said it and I still think it is. He can punch high, and you get to exploit a lot of things because revive is just phenomenal. And if you know how to use it correctly or what you're going to line it with, there's no telling where he goes, including the stranger for like better banners that somebody else may take.
You heard it from TJ.
Sure.
GL punches high.
No, I said GL Underman punches high. That's
No, I know,
the idea.
I know.
Is like yes, the GL, but it's like not many. I mean, we get to do a lot of these, but I like the idea of because again, I love the whole Pirate King team for what they get to do, and I think there's a lot to work with there.
Very good. All right. Next team in meta analysis. Just a quick mention. I had one fight versus Gungan all season. Now, this was attacker level 6, stacking offense level 3, and I went in with Great Mothers, and it did not work. And I don't know how often this occurs, but this might be one of the only times I've heard of this failing. So I've got it front and center on screen. I'll be interested in what you guys think. Watch. So we doom Nas. We bless Spirit. Do a basic, whatever. And then terrible things start happening. I've not changed the speeds on this. I've not changed a damn thing. But there's an ask on after Morgan got hosed. This is also interesting. Because the gimmick here is that we're ignoring protection, right? How is it that Boombadir just survived that? How did he just survive that? What is this witchcraft? Anyway, I hate it. And that happened to me.
What was the level 3 on that Kron?
Yeah, stacking offense. But remember, people were getting boomed like from early on before they put up any buffs or anything.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
So I was surprised in how that went down because I hadn't really seen that before. Any ideas with that? Tell me what happened to me. I don't know what happened to me.
The attacker.
I've watched that it recorded, and I had the same sort of double take. I was surprised. I had not seen that before.
It's the attacker Kron. It has to be something to do with the attacker Kron. That being said, I think I've done that fight exactly once in my life and didn't really like it. So I'm just going to say skill gap.
Could be. Like you would say, like it wouldn't even be all that controversial if it's like, oh, well, you had a 25% turn your Kron and a bunch of them got to go before any of your guys. Small wonder. But it was offense. So what gives?
Yeah, I mean, I also had Atreya get exploded by Gungans. It's just because they debuff so much, they stack up that offense aggressively. Plus, I assume it was a crit damage Kron and just... Yep, they make kaboom.
All right,
Well, that's what I said. Attacker Kron does extra damage per debuff. They are really good at putting debuffs down. And their attackers, you don't really remember it because in 3v3 there are no attackers on the team. But the attackers actually smack you really, really hard.
They do. All right, appreciate your thoughts on that.
Yeah, skill gap.
Skill gap as well. Yes, fair enough. And of course, just any other emergent counters. I know it's not likely to have something brand new join us here in week 3. But anything you guys wanted to cover?
I mean, I can...
Go ahead, Phil.
This could have been a favorite attacker defense of a week. My match history just came out, so I am now looking at it.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a quick round robin on that because that'll be how we'll wrap up the segment is getting you guys' favorite attack and defense. But go ahead, we'll give you credit for it.
I cut Starkiller from Stranger for the last 2 matches.
Ooh, wow!
The results aren't bad. Well, okay.
All right,
Sorry.
all right.
I'm not looking at
you
it,
will
but
be exposed. I'm pulling it up on screen. Where do you want to take us first? Round
Go
2 or
to
3?
round 2 defense. Look for the red bar.
Yeah. Okay, well, okay. I mean, ambitious to go with Qui-Gon. Freya might have done better.
This hang on. I think this is week 2.
Oh. Yes. Carry on. Okay, there we go. T-Bane, with Maul. Yep. Meets expectations. And I'm sure it was a good setup. Yeah, huge health. This is what is really highly desired for any non-Maul matchup to endure. It transforms, zaps, and it's done. But okay, nice to see.
I just use Eidenkron. Eidenkron is super underrated because like you don't need it anywhere else, and they don't actually care about a role. I don't actually care about like attacker or whatever. Like obviously attacker is better than not attacker, but I don't know. Aiden just felt good.
Aiden was a good crime.
Perhaps tragically, scroll down one battle.
Yeah, other Talzin get done.
Which Malicos being there kind of shocks me, but my best guess, I guess, is I guess Zombie Taunt just got through some of it, and then the healing immunity plus Plague was enough to drop it, because otherwise that seems kind of crazy to me.
Remind me,
maybe
Malicos have permakill if all allies are not?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I believe it's on his Omicron.
Well, then that's incredibly impressive that this worked then with Mother Talzin, right?
I could maybe just pivot to being a healer cron. It's for the healing immunity. It would probably be wise to. I mean, I really enjoy support cron, but yeah, healer cron's pretty ridiculous right now. So I might as well swap to healer because it would either put more pressure on them or at least make the banners worse.
Yeah, I can see it. All right, and then round 3, something you wanted to highlight about it?
No, it was just the C on the first battle.
Yeah.
C against it for 53.
Yeah, he went in with Plot and Bendables, shall we say, with the
I
aforementioned.
have seen that a couple times. Okay. Sometimes a 50. It turns out a 53 is better than like a 47, 40. 40
yeah,
you know what I mean?
The worst one shot is better than the best 2 shot.
Yeah. Is my
and for me, you like both?
Yeah, I don't see my history up. Can you see if my history's up?
Sure. Yeah. You got round 1 up.
Yeah, I've been mashing the refresh button.
Hey, I got everything. Yay.
Man, you just got piped in those last 2 rounds. I didn't realize that they weren't that close.
I did. Well, yeah, the fleet one is actually pretty close because it's one of those where I had to take a risk that I wouldn't have otherwise taken.
Oh, right.
Winning by a close margin type of thing. This one was things unexpected did happen for sure. And that's the way it goes. All right. Anything else, guys? Emergent counters, why?
I'll add one thing that I did it in my last round, but it was against an Rhodium lighter relic, but it was still Ray squad with a support cron. And that was Gungans against a Ray. And the reason I bring it up is because I didn't realize until my history, I just took a look at Baby Yoda used it against my Ray squad as well. So the Gungans putting Ray on their target list.
Now that's stacking offense level 3. Huh?
Baby Yoda's was, I think, yeah.
I want to say the win rate, like there is an incredible gap on.
No, his was 25%.
Yeah, I was about to say
sorry.
it's not impossible to do without stacking offense. There was a noticeable gap when I was looking at data there in week 3 about the Gungans that were successful versus Rays, with or without that stacking offense. All right, go ahead.
No, yeah, You're correct. I was looking at the wrong. It hit Baby Yoda is one against my Ray, which was a Ray Lumi. It was a watered down Ray squad, but so that I could bolster some other comps. And yeah, it was the stacking offense. And yeah, to your point, it worked in pretty quickly under 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, and now that you mention it, just to expand on how good that Gungan counter is, so check this out. Arsenal here in round 2 had Slacker FOS fail into Ray Swallow Cal, 40 and GK, right? So no Exile Ezra there, but yeah,
Oh, man.
Gungans dropped the
Sorry.
hammer, would have been a 60.
Wow.
I'm curious to how he lost. Not saying that's not possible, but I'm curious to where it went wrong.
I would definitely agree.
I want to say he sent a note. There was some type of rational explanation about it, but
I feel
yeah, something.
I feel like he didn't open with swipe, and that's the easiest way to lose that fight.
See?
That's
I'd
a
have to
ton
check,
of free
the
all-stars.
DM and back to you about it.
Oh,
But regardless,
the one round that I have up, Tass, it has my Jawa fight.
Oh, sure. Let's take a quick look. Well, hold on. Maybe we'll save that for your
Sorry.
favorite attack or defense. Any other
Well, we're
emergent
just
counters, real?
I'm telling you an emergent counter.
Oh, okay. What are we doing?
I have just the most garbage jabroni fucking mods on this team ever.
Yeah.
The most garbage fucking mods on this team ever.
This won't help
And-
people in the near future because the Jawacron's outgoing. But yeah.
That's fair. But like this, I can't believe I didn't think of this earlier because this guy died, but I checked his mods. He had like 2 defense primaries. Like it was just really bad mods. When I was doing this, I'm just like, wow, they all just like really died. Like this did not feel.
Oh,
close.
yeah. Yeah, Jawacron made them invincible. You don't need mods on your Jawas, and
Well,
they just
I
go
lost
explode.
one. I'm just saying this could have been like a 64, 63, 64, something like that, had I not lost him. Maybe 62 or whatever. But yeah, and then if you go down 2, that's going to be around forever. These are locked together. This one was fun.
What, the Karth versus Finn thing? Yeah, I got some legwork
Yeah, the
out of that.
C3PO actually threw a little bit of a wrench in it, but it was still fun.
Yeah, no, that is gold. That is just gold.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
You were talking about emergent counters. We hadn't discussed this yet, but wherever you
against
see
anything
this
with this
Pokron,
Finn Zori and the Pokron, man, this
Yeah.
Karth with Juhani in there instead of Bastila is just funny. Incredible.
having actual pressure that's not Zalbar related is really nice.
All right, guys.
Anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
No,
fair. And Great Mothers is bad on defense. People stop fucking placing it.
I mean, it could still be good as a fork, but yes, as a primary defense, it's not really doing it. All right, guys.
What makes them bad on defense?
Beg your pardon?
No, it just said what makes them bad on defense. Tell me.
Malgus.
But how are the banners?
64 and 63.
I was gonna say, just go do troopers for right now. It's
troopers,
first 65.
yeah.
It's first
Troopers are
65.
Troopers are 65. That's true.
Now, for the folks who haven't already been using that, TJ, refresh the people about the prerequisites to make that work. What's the composition? Is there a certain turn order? Kron, what have you?
I literally did whatever I have set for my troopers is exactly what I used. What makes it nice, and Dagger makes a call out that's true, but you get to take your old school team.
Here you go. We got you on
If
screen.
there was a trooper setup, and it is not, it's full banners. That one missing is just because that's a trick, because I got it back each time. Even to the point, round 2, I screwed up because it was trying to play, obviously, the setup with Marin on there. I took Storm. So my loop was essentially broken, but I still recovered it. It took me a little longer to make the fight go, but there's nothing there. And the only big piece, and this will be around when we come back next season.
Yeah,
so
well,
I would just say it's just full banners.
But
because no matter what you're trying to
support Kron.
support
that's what I'm
Kron
saying.
is a
It's so the
prerequisite.
question is the ask. I don't care about the stats. Support level 3, long text level 6, and take your troopers. You get to use your OG Gideon if you want to. Dagger makes a good call out to doing Stark, but you don't need it. All you'll do is, because your Gideon's obviously going to go first, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and do the basic. You're going to be fine because you're gaining your buffs. It's not going to matter. and then from there you just go and finish it, and it just plays itself. It is stupid easy.
And to
Just
be
be
clear,
aware of the loop that's going on.
The only reason I suggested Stark is you lead with Stark's basic, and on his second turn, there's
That's
a
what I mean.
non-zero chance someone could jump your loop if there's reactive turn meter, like Marin, and the goggles can pull you ahead.
And if Marin is there, just be aware that her little thing, I want to jump in between, is going to be there, but you still knock them down. I at no point, again, support, attacker, whatever, it's just beating it down. Just be aware of what's happening in the fight.
Yeah.
Sure.
You just don't need to rip right at the beginning. But it's the same thing we talked about with like Inquisitors. You may want to, it's probably better to do a torture in this one than it is just to do your middle, because everybody wants to do your middle. Well, OG Gideon there, oh, I want to rip. It's like, but you don't need to, because you're gaining so much TM. You can save it for when you might need a letter on. You're gonna get in front.
And if you're against an R9 Morgan, I'd leave with Shred.
I think the shred is fine too, but it's just, you don't need to lead with rip is the big call, because then you're just wasting an ability.
You also pretty much just lose if you click rip, because then Marin outpaces you. That gets past you.
All right, let's move this into your favorite attack and defensive.
Oh, hold on. There was a question in the chat. Can you repeat last min, please? Because we were on ads. Do you want to go back through this or not?
Sure. You want to kick us off? Exactly where for a minute.
It's probably the TLDR for Troopers versus the Night Sisters, but
Yeah,
it's super easy.
Give them the quick skinny on it again, TJ.
TLDR, support, long text, basic level 3, speed up. Take your Trooper team. It beats all variations as long as you're watching your fight. And just don't rip with Gideon. Done.
Don't rip turn meter with Gideon on at least the first turn is what.
I just would pretend to.
I was just trying to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, no. Good.
Just
clarity.
Just pretend the TM rip button doesn't exist. You'll be fine.
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
Let's talk about favorite attacks and defenses of the week. I'll step forward and mention, that failed attack with Great Mothers against Gungans was maybe the first time I've ever seen that. So I'll be paying attention to that in the near future. I did already mention how Treya was pretty heroic, surviving Stranger in round 3. We did die in round 2 and had to clean that up, but still good showing. And then here against Ababa, Bausch, Jabba, Dengar, and Zam, the win rate yesterday on .gg said Slacker FOSF could get a 68. There was only a battle or two of it, but we needed to go for banners, and we made the attempt on it. I want to say that the only decision that I could have made differently is on FOSF's first turn. Could have used third Paul Slacker, who had taken some damage but wasn't grievously wounded. But we could have done some life steal and brought his health back up, because right after that turn, where his health really wasn't all that bad, it got really bad, really fast. And then he died, and then we lost. And that was unnecessary. I could have gone. I would have had to fight a little bit elsewhere, but I wouldn't have had to deal with that shit. So fair enough. And then I've tried a bunch of different games as far as fleet defense, and it really depends on the opponent. It is hard to punish people for saving triple. I'll just say that, as far as banners go. That's enough for me. How about you, Dagger? Your favorite attack and or defense of the week?
Well, my favorite, we already went over some of the chuckles I got on offense, but the defenses of the week is watching my opponent get watching him get hoed out with his Gungans, because they decided Jabba called the mass assist on the shield generator, and he got told to go fuck himself.
Talk to us here about your Relic 10 Bausch. There's some intuitive benefits to it, but why her in general, and why now? Why not some other relic?
So because of the Datacron set, and if I want to use Attackercron on this, I wanted her at R10. That being said, generally speaking, she's one of the only light side characters on the team. And if you're putting dark side bulk or something like that on the team, I don't want to put a light side bulk on this team just for her. So it just made sense the way Datacrons generally go that I would want to have her R10. Also, if you look right below that, you'll see my Drogon's R10.
Oh yeah,
And for very similar reasons, him being the DPS of his team, her being the DPS of her team, 5% more damage is good. 5% damage reduction is also good. And right now, Appo's going to be my next one for the same reasons. He has a summon, plus he's one of the biggest damage dealers on the team, at least burst damage. And that's really what I'm looking for is Relic 10s that will put pressure on off counters. I'm trying to put pressure on off counters. And I know Fatal is going down a different route for his R10s, which is fine. I know you, and if I had as many R10s as like maybe you did, I would be looking at something that I didn't feel was quite as impactful. Like, well, I shouldn't phrase it that way. I would be evaluating my R10 situation differently because I want basically all of my GL teams to get an R10 first, just because I think that that's going to have the highest EV long term.
Okay.
Because once I get past like the first 15 R10s, they will slowly stop mattering as much. But I really, really don't want you punking out my Appo in 3v3. And I really don't want you punking out my Drogon or Boosh because they're on the team in 3v3 and 5v5. Right? So you'll see that as a pattern on my R10s on GLs. They're on the team in 3s and they're on the team in 5s.
Fair. Fine idea. All right. Over to you, TJ. How about your favorite attack and or defense of the week?
And defense was whatever, but the attack, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna go just to offset our friend Arsenal. Go to round 1 attack and my SLKR versus Ray. Now that's still I'm going to miss the Kron simply for, and that's with Ezra. What I don't care,
The
but
full bore
just
team.
it's just so much fun getting to go back and do old school 2-man on a just full blown. I've stuck it to you and just no, it's cool. I'll go get my 66, or if you can really work it out at 68, which I've also been able to do. So we want to talk about having a lot of fun. This is why I said I talk about like the Pirate King or whatever else is. This is the epitome of me to be fun to figure how low we can get.
Fair enough. All right. Over to you, Sasha. How about your favorite attack and or defense of the week?
Sure. So on the attack side, I'll go to one that I hinted out before, and it was unsuccessful, but it was kind of just a cool experience to see it. Baby Yoda had set a standard sort of Hut Cartel squad. It was Jabba, Bausch, Chrysanthemum, Embo, and Boba. And the Kron was the new Bounty Hunter Kron that has I think it's like 5 or 10% additional offense for each debuff that any bounty hunter inflicts for all bounty hunters through the remainder of that battle, stacking up to 300%. So, with the amount of debts that are thrown out there, it stacks pretty quickly. It's a lot of DPS, and so that was off the new Kron set, and that was a squad that I was staring at the bottom front wall of Baby Yoda's defense, and I decided to take QA. I had a few other options. I could have maybe tried JMK and other stuff, but I pivoted with JMK, and I took a QA squad of QA POW, Master Qui-Gon, Bad Batch Echo, and Shock, and I was impressed with the DPS. It did ramp sort of as one might have hoped, and they had sufficient focus fire that they took out my Master Qui-Gon pretty quickly. Then Jabba ate POW, and I was able to get it down to just Jabba, but it was a fairly impressive showing of that new Datacron, and certainly the first time I'd seen it, first time it was available for use in GAC. So if you go to the Baby Yoda one, it looks like perhaps the new week is not there. We go middle match there, week 2, and that Jabba one. So yeah, that was cool. That was it was fun to see, and I appreciate it. I always kind of laud him for this, but like maybe he goes aggressive on the Datacrons, and then he finds the right applications for him early on. So I kind of feel like I'm always right on the forefront of getting to experience that stuff. In terms of my own defense, um, nothing that I would call out. Actually, nothing that other than like what I mentioned before. That I said a Ray-Ban Looney squad that was beaten by Gungans, and that was noteworthy. But as you mentioned, he had the level 3. It was an attacker with a level 3 stacking offense, and it was good on him. That worked well.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. And Fatal, of course. Your favorite attack and defense.
We already kind of went with one, so I will just say Leia, 8 and 9 on holds for the season. The one time that she got one shot was SLK with SLK FOSF Kron. A hefty price.
Like it?
Yeah, she killed it. You don't see people like this anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I decided to throw her on defense myself, and it didn't get me a hold, but it did throw my opponent for a little bit of a loop. Fair. All right, guys. We'll save takeaways and final thoughts for the very end. Let's go ahead and get ready to transition into taking viewer questions. I think I'm going to take just a quick break here, like 2 minutes, just a quick bathroom break, and of course, all posts, all watching. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So freshen up your drinks, smoke them if you got them, and yeah, we will be right back.
questions, by the way? Are they in?
Yeah, the
our
questions
chat?
should be in the chat here. We're back, guys, from break,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're going to start taking viewer questions. We finished the main agenda of the show for this episode, so let's get cracking on it. First one here from Motel Boat. Who's everyone's favorite marquee from this era? Yeah, let me pull questions.
Favorite, or who do we think is going to be best?
Just favorite.
Just
That's
for
the spirit of the question is favorite. You can slice that however you want.
I'll go first with, and then we can go in increasing order of reasonableness and relevancy. So I'm going to say Yoda and Chewie because, God damn it, at some point I want to be able to set Wookiees and have them do something. So
Massive poke.
I'll do that now. I'm going to duck before the tomatoes hit me and then let you guys take the stage.
Oh, my favorite is Barris, but she is probably third on the list of usefulness, maybe fourth.
Good. I mean, for me,
I
it's
just
going
like
to be
her
Darth Vader.
And to be clear, I just like her design a lot.
It is a good.
And I like the synergy it appears that she'll have with the Inquisitors as well. Maybe not as a full-time member, but God, Eighth Brother kind of sucks.
Fair. I mean, Eighth Brother's done me pretty good over the years, though. All the AOE's on that team, so I don't want to denigrate the man. Done all right by me. There could be somebody better, but yeah.
Yeah, you click one button, he hangs out in stealth, and then dies after everyone else on his team dies.
Yeah, that's a good thing. This is a good thing. Yeah. All right.
I'm not saying you.
my character that I'm into is this Darth Vader. Like the animations, just from what I've seen in Coliseum, really cool. You know, I'm a sucker for Darth Vader in general, and also this is something that deserves to be its own character. We've had a couple moments of Darth Vader with the mask damage, and with anything else that they've made multiple characters of, like how many different Leias do we have? You know, this is fitting, and I just like how unhinged, aggressive everything about him is. Idle animations, all of it. So really, really good. Who's next?
Fatal, you go. What's yours?
Putting the man on the spot.
I'm probably most excited for IG-90. But I mean, Stormtrooper Luke in Theory 3 will be disgusting. But honestly, it's so disgusting that it circles back to being kind of stupid almost. And Wookiees are kind of an IG-90 tier of like, I think they will be fun to play if I can find spots to use them.
Well, I thought that was kind of the consensus opinion about, don't let me put words in your mouth, but I thought that was kind of the consensus opinion about Stormtrooper Luke. He's going to be good, but like Kyber 1 board good? Probably not, is what I thought I recall us discussing before. You have a different take?
Went back through the roster, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. Time is a flat circle. Stormtrooper Luke lead is very fucked up. It will destroy a lot of teams easily.
I think we talked about his defensive viability, not its offensive viability.
Yeah, you do not want to post and on defense.
Yeah, that's what. This team is. Yeah.
See,
it's an island. Sorry,
go ahead. Go ahead, you're good. No. Go ahead, man.
No, it's an I win but on offense. As long as you satisfy the conditions.
I was actually going to go with Stormtrooper Luke as well. To like, not even a hot take. I'm enjoying the 3s more than the 5s as of late, and I still like the Princess Leia Omi. I like the setup of. I was a fan of Adrad Leia combo. Obviously, you can't defense that shit, but
you racist.
But whatever.
They're not the same squid.
That's a species if you're gonna really do it, Dick. Right.
Species
Well, yes, they are. You can ask Sasha. Sasha knows they're the same. Sasha's with me. So it's really I like the Omis for what they get to do. I like the Leia Omi. It would be cool if there's being a proper use, and this is calling it out. And I'm an episode 4 junkie because that's literally my time frame. So mine is Stormtrooper Luke for like multiple reasons.
We missing one? Did we get everybody?
Sasha
No,
said
I
Yoda
started.
Chewie.
Yeah,
No, he already did. He's like
Yeah,
Chewies,
right?
damn it. He
Yeah,
wants
we're
it.
good.
He
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
Wow,
the
wait
he
out
wants them
yourself.
Bacas.
Wait out
Well,
yourself.
but I
It's
was
not
going to
listening.
ask Sasha which one he thinks is going to be the best or the most impactful out of these.
Most
'Cause he kind of-
impactful.
Because he admitted
Yeah,
that he
I don't know. I mean, I
I'm not
probably
cutting all.
yeah.
Don't let
I
Dagger
don't know. I can
define
definitely
the
see two
question
different.
for you. The question was, what did you think was best? And you get to define what best is for you,
Yeah.
Sasha. Don't
That's fair.
let Dagger railroad.
I
I'm
equated
asking
best to
everyone the
joyful
same
and
question, just modified. Because, like, my favorite is not who I think is going to be best. So I'm
counting
asking
Maul
now.
in this.
I'm not trying not to include Maul.
Maul is not a marquee. The question was about a marquee.
Fair. Sorry, I was looking at the arrow screen and I was like, well, he's on the list.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. I don't hate it. All right, that was a
Yeah,
good question. Appreciate that, Motel. All right, next one. Let me read this. So far, Asajj is my favorite, but I'm excited to see how Darth Vader feels, regardless of questions surrounding him. Speaking of which, I know Fatal has opinions on this new, but curious as to what the rest of the plotting and scheming. Well, first, recap for folks that might not have caught your last stream where you were talking about these characters. What's your current beef, with Darth Vader, if any?
It's just he's a walking slab of damage. And I actually had the thought late last night that kind of sums up my feelings on this character perfectly. If you were excited for this character, I am the last motherfucker who was still using EP Mara Starkiller. Everybody else was using Malako Starkiller for a good long while, and EP Mara was roaming free separado. So you tell me what everyone's been doing with EP Mara in the time since then, because this character does not help you get off the ground. This character, I mean, he gives you hatred on everyone, so you get to die once if your revive is not blocked. You are allowed to die once, and then you will get Terminator, and you can try to get up off the ground that way. That sounds messy and uncomfortable as shit, but you could try to make your game plan that way. And he has the taunt turns into Mark, so I mean you kind of have that. But by and large, for the most part, the EP Mara that we have is mostly the same as the EP Mara that we have had, and nobody's been using it. So to that end, it's really all my point is I don't think DVDE helps the squad get better at what they want to do. Like, he doesn't help the squad get in. He is just a reward for finding a way in, right? What I was saying last stream is he feels like a reward for successfully finding cheese routes. And if you can do so, he will probably help extend your reach. But he himself, like almost every other character on this list, is a mover and a shaker, and he just is not. He is just like, look, man, I do damage. He has more synergy. I was fucking shitposting in my Discord and he came up with this. You could do Jedi Knight Luke lead with a Jedi Knight Anakin. DVDE kicks off Jedi Knight Anakin's immediate bonus her to start a match. The motherfucker has more synergy with Sith to give them start a battle proactivity than he gives the Empire. So who knows, man? I wish them the best. I am not rooting against them, but I am skeptical of their reach. But at the same time, Empire has been so... We just talked about Troopers, man, right? If there was ever a team to not want to bet against in this game's history, it has been Empire. So what I think DVD is doing, CG is making a market. They are trying to say, okay, you Empire cheesing fucks. We have made this character for you as a reward. Go find the angles, and he will be your... Getting to pull him off will be your reward for finding it.
I would really like for Palpatine and Vader to actually hold good merit, though. I'm probably going to say it's probably what it is, or it is what it is. And Fatal, you're probably going to be right. But man, I would really like to see a push to say that the duo gets to go wreck some stuff. Because obviously you have Bane and he's set for C or whatever. I would love to see an EPDV setup, whatever. I don't care what variation, just actually doing work that's impactful, not cheesy. That would just, I
Yeah.
think that of all things would be such a good omen.
Tell you,
Sorry.
sorry, real quick, just to counteract
Yeah.
myself. I can tell you that people fucking around in the Barbarossa sandbox at the SOH event server seem to think highly of this character. So we shall see.
Why would you reverse Doom like that? Wow.
I'm just trying to be a contrarian.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to mix signals.
You're just saying it's doomed. It was promising on that test environment. We're doomed. All right. Well, thank you for crushing my enthusiasm.
My first thought with this was, I remember when we saw the kid, I was in voice chat with you and TJ, and my first thought was, man, I am going to really enjoy EP MJ Vader plus pre-taunt. And then my immediate thought was, what does EP MJ Vader pre-taunt beat? Shit. Not that it beats shit, but then it was like, I'm trying to rack my brain. I'm like, shit, I don't know what
Right.
it beats. Right? Like, it's not fast enough. It's not strong
That's
enough.
why I said
It's not
I
reactive
want.
enough.
I just want some like special unique of auto win game or just something like against rebels or just something else. And that's, I think that's a hope, not a factual setup.
And then I think about that team more and I'm like, man, Darth Vader is doing all OG Darth Vader is doing the lifting on that entire team, and I just listed the new character. Like, he is damaged. He doesn't bring the CC to the table. The CC is what pulls that team together. The Merciless Massacre with all the ability blocks and the dots and the turn meter. That's what kind of pulls the team together, speeding the team up. Right? Because when you Culling Blade, you give everybody turn meters. So it's like, do you just put your Darth Vader in the screamingest fucking set you can and hope it's good enough?
Yeah,
that's kind of my
something
concern.
with Gideon on the team, maybe.
That's kind of my concern for the team's future. Is I am worried that like there are going to be people who are like, oh man, DVD can actually do some cool stuff. Check it out, and we're going back to either Culling Blade RNG or it's going to be like Mara Magma fucking throw the TM removal grenade
Oh,
at
yeah.
70% preload.
Yeah.
The TM removal doesn't happen into, well, I guess it's over.
Yeah.
It's just the cause and effect of what you have to achieve. So all of it is true, man. But you can still live in the world of hope of wanting. I don't want to have to push the buttons to make the mechanic happen for the team to work like it's supposed to. That's going to be a tough ask.
I will say that Darth Vader Duel's End is the only character from this entire era that, like, evokes any emotion or any emotional response from me whatsoever. Like, oh my god, that. Not saying anyone else is bad, just that he is so iconic and cool.
Yeah.
If you want an emotional response, I could just point out that Maul has a plug-and-play perma-taunting tank clause that can just plug and play into any single team.
That's my emotional response to you, Fable.
Well, he's not a marquee again, so he exceeds the scope. Yes.
I'm
good.
super excited for Asajj, though. Asajj making DBB possibly relevant in GAC makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I don't think people are prepared for how fucked up that team is going to be.
Yeah. Forlom and Zuckuss are way better than people give them credit for.
Well, they've been waiting.
Oh, yeah.
They really have. They've been, more or less out of place. People have forced the issue and found places to put them, but not to what I've seen as any useful end because they were there. They were there because whatever other two things they were going to put there wasn't going to matter.
Yeah, I think Asajj is going to be. I think she's going to be the most. She's going to be the most fucked up in the sense of like actually being a lifter for a team that probably. Deadbot is so bad in GAC. I am so happy he might actually be good.
Sure.
Trench might actually get one of these marquees soon because he's also ass.
All right. Next question here from Depressed Wampa. How are you guys approaching Datacron farming this conquest, considering you guys having so many max crons from the previous set? Uh, for my part, I did pick up that calendar for the 600 energy daily, and I've been just sitting on it for weeks now, and I'm picking it up day by day. So between that and the 350 crystal refreshes, that's what I've been doing these first few days. And I'm, probably about a quarter of the way into Sector 5 just off that. I don't, you know, I bought a bunch of crons before this conquest was live using Shard Shop currency. So I don't have to
Mhm.
farm up a bunch of crons. I can just, start leveling up the best of them and see where that leads me with the knowledge that I'm going to have more than a week to knock out whatever else it is that I need. And realistically, what am I looking to get? About 10 per set? If we're going to 3 sets being live, the larger footprint being 3 versus 3, you need 30. That sounds about right. And that's not inclusive of focus datacrons, not that we have them on this newest set. But that's kind of my strategy. What about you guys? How are you approaching your datacron development here?
Well, first off, we're in the middle of ads, so I'm just gonna. Oh, they just ended. So I'm just gonna throw out that I find it interesting that the FTCs are coming out with 5v5 sets, not 3v3, or they're coming out 3v3 sets, not five. What was it? They're coming out only one of them, right? They said every other set we're gonna get FTCs, right?
Oh, is that
Which
what it
means we're
is?
getting these for 3v3, which means if we get them every other set, we're only going to get them with sets that come out in 5v5.
Is that confirmed? I saw the
I
FTCs were
I
coming back
hadn't
next
heard
set, but
this
I
before. I could believe it though, but I hadn't heard
I
this.
I
I
don't
I
think they.
I could be wrong. I thought Meathead said that they were going to be every other set.
I
Maybe
don't.
we're just
But
guessing.
my only concern is nothing's come out as an official statement. I'm
Yeah,
sure they
that's
said it
fair.
on the Swiggle events, but like they haven't officially come out that I've seen about the
That's
status
fair.
or like this is the new. It makes sense what you're saying, Dagger. Of like we're moving to 3, so every other one we can expect it or something like that. But it's like yeah, they haven't given us anything towards like an
Yeah.
actual. This is it.
My strategy for the next couple of yeah, Womprat said that Meathead said that in Discord, but yeah. So my process is basically these next 2 times I'm going to have to run and dump, um, because of the sets coming out, not because we have so many that are dismantling. But I wouldn't worry too much about min maxing it. If I'm being honest, you really just want to pay attention to the roll crons when they start expiring. Min max or try your best to min max that one. But we're just not going to build as many crons per set, which means we're not going to have as much rollover per set, which means I'm not as fussed about losing some of the value. Because again, I'm not trying to make a bunch of burst crons in the first conquest and then fix them in the second one. Because there's no fixing these crons. So I just want to build the crons I want, or want/need, then worry too much about min maxing my rewards. Now, did I race to Sector 4? Yes, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not doing it at the detriment of other things. I'm still doing the feats as I go, just kind of plugging along. I'm probably going to end up wasting around 20 million data cache. That's my plan, but everyone else is free to tell me I'm retarded.
Sure. Next. What's the
Yeah, for myself, I'm going to go a little lighter than I've gone historically, which is generally pretty heavy on datacrons. But there's only 1 month where this newest set won't overlap with the maxed set that we have with the rolls crons roll level 6s. So I think there are some of these that are particularly appealing. I'll go after those, but I'm not likely to go after the full like 30 of them and super aggressive the way I have in some sets in the past. I think it's good. I think it's got some areas where it really spikes, but um those areas where it doesn't have a specific fit, it's tough just on a general basis to compete with these like totally optimized role based crons.
grade? Yeah, I mean, this now newest set is probably going to be uniquely low effort for a lot of high end players just because of how good set 25 is. Not just after set 25
And
is
the next
gone,
one.
we'll have to be putting in a more regular level of effort. Datacron
These
generation.
next 2 sets are going to be that way.
Fair. Yeah, next 2. Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's still a good bit of life.
I know what you meant. I just wanted to remind everybody.
No. It's a
You
completely
know?
legitimate point. It is actually affecting 2, this newest set and then the set that will come out after. Very fair. All right. Let's see here. Wes, well, did we get everybody here on the Datacron farming?
TJ Fatal.
I did
Approach to
say
this
mine,
Datacron.
Fatal. You go ahead, Fatal.
My approach to this Datacron season is to hear a question about what my plan is for the Datacron season and then frantically launch Conquest for the first time.
Good.
Hope this helps.
Yep. Science. Yep. Sounds good. All right. That's, I think, a completely rational approach. I don't really have any hot topic crons to get from this set. I'll get some, but,
The Forlum one was good.
I think there's a couple of good ones, man, that are good players. It may not just be like I can't put it on defense, but for offense, I think there are some sleepers that folks aren't looking at. I really do like the variety and the spice of what you get to do. Afra's a couple of good ones. I still like the Huyang one and what it gets to offer out. I think there's more than people are giving it credit for. Now, again, you can't look at the same lens if you're going to look at the kit-based cron. That's not even a fair assessment. That's not. You can't look at the steroid big brother versus the baby infant and say, "Oh, these are the same." That's not. But there's still some spicy options here, and
I think the moment set
my
25 ends, these
that's
motherfuckers
that's
are
what
going to be.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Fatal, you called it, and I know everybody's like doom and gloom because it's like it's not. You can't compare and then infinite rerolls. That's like kit. So it's like not even a fair assessment. But I still like the set. It's still got some things in it, but it's not like I agree with Dagger on the min maxing. Here's my, I guess, mini soapbox of it. I'm so unhappy with CG's inconsistency. I am working them all to be maxed out still. I was fortunate enough to get the calendar. I was fortunate enough to stack as much energy as I could because if something didn't feel right and we walk in the door and boom, no ascension, no calendar, no nothing right now. So I already have 30 crons. Again, to what Tass said, I was building up. We didn't need the materials, right? So getting that shard shock currency, I was buying one every day because I was up like 30,000 shard shock currency. Why not? And when this set does dust, we're gonna have the full setup. I want to be so I'm actually still going to the hundreds or the 200s because I don't know what CG is gonna do. They're too inconsistent. So I would rather hoard and keep my stuff straight, be that full level 9s, just to see where we get for how all of this stuff dusts and what we look like moving forward.
Yeah, what I will say is, and we'll talk more about this in between, but IG-88, BB-8, C-3PO, and Zuckus called it.
I mean the bounty hunter stuff too. It's like I like what we're doing.
Yeah, that's the other problem too. Is like they are only doing like 2 factions, but at least the droid ones have like reach over like a bunch of different teams.
Yeah,
the bounty hunter ones you really only want like 1, maybe 2, because it's like after Zuckus, which gives foresight to the whole team. It's like, I mean, everyone else is on the team, so it's like right, like so it's like IG is, I don't know if he's a droid or a bounty hunter. I haven't looked to see what he's counted as. But yeah, IG-88, BB-8, Zuckus. I guess Huyang is probably worth getting just for Ahsoka, but I feel like Ahsoka is still going to be using a Rollcron.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think, the tangent that we're on is on the about what happens.
Yeah,
I was gone.
it's
Fair enough.
It is like I said. There's a small gap where it's going to happen. It's just a concern. If CG will.
Well, sorry. Specifically, what I mean is the Huyang one's not good enough to even consider replacing a roll.
Sure.
Whereas the Zuckus one is, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, maybe you didn't say what I meant correctly.
I like the Zucker. I like the Huyang one, so I'm still a fan of it. I think it's cool some of the things, but again, that's a like versus a factual setup. There's no data to support that, and kit is always going to be just a much bigger impact than I tricked you with my additional 25% TM, etc.
All right, we've got time for a question or two here. Let's have it. From Dust Cannon 9756, what would you guys like the next era and or next GL and or next faction? I mean, we'll have to keep it brief for the sake of time. But as far as era goes, you're serving up an easy one for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Eternal Empire era. You know, with our 5-man team that I've talked about before. So that'd probably be it. As far as a GL goes, GL, who gets to be a GL seems to be a bit flexible. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a GL Cassie and Andor is, you know, you care given the events of Rogue One in particular, just setting that was before the Andor show, which I think we'd agree is significantly added to the repertoire, what Cassian pulled off before the final moments there in Rogue One. That yeah, sure. Yeah, you've got Hondo, who's a galactic legend for just, you know, being at the right place at the right time and making money off it at any given point.
Well,
It's like fine.
Hondo's a
fine.
GL. Yeah, Hondo's a GL because he's the host of Galaxy's Edge. That's why Hondo's a GL.
Sure. Fine. Whatever. I mean, you know,
That's my
however,
only rationale I can think of.
however thin we want to spread reasoning across the toast of what makes a GL a GL,
Sure.
fine. But sure, we, you know, Andor's that's my answer. How about you guys?
Mine is really easy, and it's going to be the same until they can do it. Give me Kreia as an era unit, and give me Revan as a GL. I want Atris. I want Mitra Surik. Fucking do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So
Let's go.
a different part of Old Republic as an era.
Yes.
Fair.
Yeah, KOTOR 2 is my absolute jam. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it.
All right. Who's next?
Also, Andor's I would settle for Andor, like Tess.
I, I would love to see a flex on I'm old school, but I would still love to see a true like Revan. Like Revan Reborn GL seems like such a just the kits. Like when it first came out. I would love to see a true like light side, dark side. He's maybe in between. So he's the first one of like holding both sabers type setup. And you can flex if you're gonna put Jedi or like they've done some cool things with Mission and Zalbar. So I would love to see that just from like a kit mechanic side would be awesome to see how they would try to align those. Honestly, my hottest take is going to be, and I hate to say it, a new ship meta. I am over the 50 million things to Sith. So if you're going to give me what I want a new era, give me a fucking new ship meta. Sell it. I'm cool.
What does that look like?
Again,
this a board expansion.
You have so many places
do?
we could go. Let's go separatists. So Trench finally gets it, and Trench is going to be that. Sure, okay, we're going to go pirates. We have an easy. I can think of a million different ways.
Add these new meta fleets and you keep the board the same size, how much difference is it?
To me, it would just be the time. Like they've done it before. It'd be the time to add another fleet to the GAC. It's usually the setup when we get to that point. But it's to I don't even care. Just it's a new ship meta. It's time to do something. Get ship mods. I don't care. Not ship DC. That's dumb. But ship mods. We've talked about it for a while. I like the mechanics of changing it up. That'd be cool. But I'm done. I'm done with the Sith Empire and Levi. And let's go fix it again. Move on.
Sure.
Just to piggyback off TJ really quick, we could support another GL level fleet without having to expand the board because we have 3. And all this would do is basically ice out one of the older teams that we had been making some minor
we have
use
4
of.
with Home 1 now?
That's not a GL fleet. I don't consider it that because you don't have to buy the capital ship with crystals.
If you look at where you're at, it's really Levi. It's Levi
Executor,
Profundity,
Profundity, and Leviathan are
Executor.
considered
Fair.
the GL
Yeah.
fleets because they have literal requirements, and you have to unlock them over.
Okay. All right.
I agree
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it for-
So Journey style character. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
no,
went
don't
to a
get me
higher
wrong, you're
level,
right.
which is fair.
It's up there. But I will say this: it is absolutely shameful of CG to have a pirate faction and no pirate fleet.
Very fair
This
point.
is because they got
Absolutely fucking
trench.
shameful.
It's just like,
But okay, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Who's next?
I'm next, I think. And by the way, I mean, we do have kind of precedence on that fleet stuff coming. I mean, Bodie Rook was in the game for 7 years before he got a ship, and he's literally known as a pilot. So we got to bide our time. So for me, it would definitely be, and I've been through this, so I won't belabor it, but Andor for sure. Cassian, I'd love to see as a GL. Love the show. I would be very happy to see some of the cooler characters in there come in. It's a little more challenging, I understand, because they tend to be less like action combat oriented, but I think they're really cool ways. And I will say CG tends to do a really nice job of uh, like thematic adaptation of kits, and so I'd be excited to see them do that. And I know we've already seen certain status effects or abilities that hint at things that would seem to fit well with an ISB and deception and things like that. But that's what I would absolutely love to see. I'd be so all in on that.
That. How about you, Fatal?
Did we go through 2 back-to-back pirate arrows? Or was it just like one big one, or arrows were even like
one pirate era, but back-to-back conquest pirates?
Yeah, I would just call it one extended Fatal to your question.
I would just say extended era because there were 2 SME and then mod.
I will probably say this immediate era, make it KOTOR 2, and then era after that, Andor leading up to Andor GL.
I'll take it. As long as Krea's the unit, not Mitra Cirque. No offense to Mitra Cirque.
It's gonna be Mitra Cirque.
I know. I know. But I want Krea to be good. I don't want her to be like medium. I want her to be amazing. And
Fair.
goddess-like. She deserves it.
All right.
OG Treya was a god for like 3 years, and so many people playing now just don't remember when she was a god, walking among men.
Let's take our next question here. We got one from Slugga Gameplay 9525. I have a question. It's more from an early game. But I have Maul to 5-star, free to play, and I have a 4 million GP account. I have Balin, Starkiller, Executor, very close to Bo-Katan, and now I have 5 Kyber Lightspeed tokens. And I can get 2 Erodium Lightspeed tokens for Paraship. What would be the best use of those Lightspeed? Who should I get? Looking for expert opinions. I'm going to rely strongly on you guys because I wouldn't have the faintest.
My best answer would be go on swugga.gg, look at their gear, and use your tokens on whoever has the most heinous gear.
That was the crunch, and mine is honestly at 4 million and where you're at, fastest GL. You'll never go wrong with SLKR. To me, honestly, your path is always GL based, and can it achieve the most damage? SLKR will forever remain because you're getting Dre. She's amazing. That's like one of the best all arounds, and continues to be one of just the standout stars of that. So whoever gets you closest to your first GL is where you want to go. You cannot go wrong with the GL.
That's also true. Unless you're getting C. At that low GP, I don't know what he's
doing. Not calling that wrong. It's just sad because it's true. But
yeah,
like that's where you try to get to.
Game.
Yeah. That's why I said SLKR. If you notice, I stuck to the man.
Yeah, I would say I would honestly just say at this point, Jabba. Jabba's probably the very best option.
Jabba's great as well.
SLK is
Okay.
also
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So
another very,
spend
very
some of
good
those
option.
tokens towards prereqs to Java. Okay. Yeah, he says he's got most everything he needs for Kairos and for GLA and friends. So he doesn't want to go for light speed tokens there. So yeah, how about your Java situation?
Also, when you get there, Stelios asked a really good question that
Yeah,
I
we'll
would like to
we'll take
answer.
that here next. And I don't want to keep you guys.
I just didn't know where everybody's free time. I didn't know where everybody's time was because I know like we're getting close to a hard stop.
I know we got to wrap this up sooner than later, so we'll make this the last one, guys, and then we'll go and wrap it up. But Stelio says, what franchise would you want to collab with if they released a new character, or do you like it Star Wars exclusively? I like the question. For me, it should just stay Star Wars. Star Wars has invaded other IPs and had fun, successful crossover. I don't really want something dipping its toe into my Star Wars. Star Wars can dip its toe into something else.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
I was gonna say I was gonna take it in a slightly different direction in the sense that I don't necessarily want character crossovers, but I would not be upset to see like, how cool would it be to have like a Spock skin in this game? That's all I'm thinking.
It would for me, I wouldn't like it. It would feel to me pretty out of place, but I don't begrudge
Sure.
you wanting to see it.
I just think there is some
Okay.
cool. Really quick, I'll just finish mine. I think there's some cool and interesting overlap potential, but I do agree that I don't want characters that aren't Star Wars. But I do think that there could be like an era where it's like you fight against like Star Trek or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I think that they could do some interesting things with like an era or like skins or just something like Assault Battle, skin in the Assault Battle for like a month. Right? Like I don't know. Like what if one of the Assault Battles, if you didn't want to auto it, you could just like kill red shirts or something. You know what I mean? I think that would be interesting, but I don't actually want characters, but I wouldn't mind.
I'm sorry. I like my superheroes and all stuff like that, and I'm sorry for the dogs, but I am a Star Wars purist. So the world that I live in with that one is very near and dear to my heart. So it's like I appreciate the folks that want to do it. I would not be cool with that. I don't care about the collabs of Marvel and DC. You could put all these other things together. You can do whatever you want on the What If series, but this is not a Star Trek, Star Wars. Like there's just this world that you live in feels very set, and I that just gives like the heebie-jeebies even thinking of like, let's put this setup there. It'd be fun to try it, but I agree, the minute you try to put a red shirt or you want to live long and prosper, that should be done elsewhere.
Yeah, I
I'm in the
just view
same
it as Star
sentiment.
Wars has been imperialistic enough to invade other IPs. I don't see why this should be any different.
Because Star Wars is the right one. It gets to invade other inferior IPs and evangelize.
That's what it
itself.
is.
Manifest Destiny, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
that is a tough
How do you
ask,
think? How do you
man.
think
It's
we
like,
came
yeah,
to hear about a galaxy far, far away? They colonized ours. Duh.
Well, no, it's just because R2D2 decided to record the history of their like species. Whatever. R2D2 wrote down a bunch of stories.
That would be the most.
That's the only reason we have Star Wars.
That'd be an incredibly profane record.
R2D2 is the one telling the stories.
Yeah, I know. It would be pretty profane. You'd be hearing in binary, and this fucking guy, and that fucking guy.
He's not Chopper, he's R2.
Yeah, no, I know. More than a couple of times he's been censored. Fair enough. Who did we miss here on this? Did we get you yet, Fatal?
I think crossovers are way the fuck overdone lately. If anything, I think we're well past that phase, and I think a lot of brands and franchises are starting to realize there is a time and a place. And yeah, I think it would add pretty much nothing here, in my opinion. Like, okay, here's my actual answer, is I think you already have that aspect within this game. Because this is the only place where the extended universe and current canon and all that shit collide. And you already evoke that feeling, and there is plenty of space still for that feeling to be evoked within the Star Wars universe, so why the fuck do we need to go elsewhere?
You know what? That's actually fair. I take back my answer. That is actually fair. This game is a crossover in of itself.
Nice answer.
Didn't
All
think
right.
about it that way.
All right. Well, appreciate all you guys out in the chat that gave us these questions. A lot of fun. Good ones. Appreciate you. And let's take it around, guys, back to takeaways and final thoughts. So we are wrapping up this 5 vs. 5 season. Obviously, we will have one final hurrah with set 25. So a lot of what we've done here will still be in effect next time we come back. It is fair to look and see if there's anything really opportune in the new set, because we did make occasional use of the set 24, the Pirate, the FOSF Cron. So maybe there's something to replace that. But yeah, as far as something to take back into the next fives, I think that my opponent being both Pirate King and Ahsoka Ezra on off very interesting, when I think many of us have been perfecting counters to both of them several seasons now, and we're reliably able to get our 65 on it, if not higher, depending on what we're doing. Yeah, definitely gonna be. Dagger, how about you? Your takeaways, your final thoughts.
First, I just have a confirmation, or deconfirmation, if you will. Will we have these era units for the next 5v5?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm really looking forward to the next 5v5, and I think we will at the end of it, the beginning of every era, because we are going to see like some interesting stuff, whether it be good, bad, ugly, or otherwise. We're going to see 7 new characters on the holotable. Not to quote CG's dumb shit, but we're going to see 7 new characters that are going to affect the GAC board. Some maybe more than others.
New characters out on the holotable.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I am excited for that for next 5v5. The debut of Maul, the debut of Asajj, the throwing of Darth Vader and Yoda and Chewie into the trash can.
Shut your mouth.
7 new characters and a new Datacron set.
That's true.
Don't forget.
That's true.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
That's going to be a real
Datacron
twist. Getting into the habit of expecting a new Datacron set going into 5s. That's going to be wild. That will be an adaptation.
But yeah, I am actually really interested in the next 5v5. So my takeaway for next 5v5 is I don't know what the fuck to expect. It's going to be the Wild West. We're going to have 3 Cron sets, 2 of which we don't know yet. And we're going to have 7 new characters. Technically 4 or 5, but I guess we should technically count Yoda, Chewie, and IG-90 and Darth Vader.
It's 8 new characters because 2 of them are 1 unit.
It's 8 new characters.
Tell him, Sasha.
Wait, hold on.
Tell him.
And we're gonna get Satele after week 1.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right.
So
appreciate you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge one.
Fair.
So yeah, that's my takeaway. Is I'm actually usually, or the last few months, or last few times, just to wrap it up. Sorry, TJ mentioned earlier that 3v3 has been more interesting than 5s, and that has been true. But I am really looking forward to the next 5s because, man, the amount of changes that are going to be there, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
All right, over to you, TJ. Your takeaways and final thoughts. What do you got?
I think we're all going to be saying the same thing about all of the new characters, all the new toys. We finally get to play with them out in the wild and do our own stuff and testing and see what it's going to do. That's honestly funny enough. Where I'll be interested to see where we get to at that point is we'll be coming back a couple months into the game. I just want to see everything calm down and we move to some kind of semblance of like, do we get to be consistent? That's what I'm hoping for, is that by the time we're coming back 2 months later, we're that much wiser and we're seeing like the game will play this way. I'm excited for all of the DCs we'll get to see with it. I'm excited with all the new toys, but I just want to see the game move to. I understand it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not Monday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's where I'm at right now.
Fair. Appreciate it. Sasha, how about you? Your takeaways and final thoughts.
I think like everybody, I'm excited to see how much of a change the huge influx of the new units is going to be when they finally hit. I think for where we are right now, like it just feels like a transitional stage. I liked TJ's answer that I want like effective communication, and I think. The honest answer about sort of like my takeaway and final thoughts, I'm happy to see a lot of sort of movement and change in the game that kind of prevents a stale experience that would have a real risk of killing the game. But I'm really am hoping at some point in the not too far distant future we finally hear something about like PvP and something invested. I have a hard time kind of losing that lingering concern that man, whether it's the board, the rules, the other stuff, something that just changing up the metas on the same format is probably not going to be enough. Could be wrong, but I'm really hoping to see something on that front. But that's just sort of where I'm coming from personally.
I think the disruption now going season really fun, but you will have so little to go on going into
Mhm.
that first week of each, depending on how good some of the highlight crons are. That whatever that is. Fun. Appreciate you. And of course, Fatal. Your takeaways and final thoughts. Last word for the.
I think this is going to be a period of great change for me. It already was, and then yeah, with this era leaving isolation will cause a lot of chaos to boot. I don't know. This is the first Grand Arena season I have ever experienced where the season ended and I immediately told myself I need to work on my mod loadout for the next 5v5 season now. I cannot transition into the 3v3 mode and remember all the stuff that I need to remember about stuff I need to fix and also be on top of the era preparation stuff. Yeah, man. It's yeah, I take that as a good sign too, right? This is the first off week where I did not fuck off. And I'm just like still here. Like it even feels like there's stuff that we could chat about with the game every day in this off week or stream about. But yeah,
Speaking of
it's
please finish.
no, I think it'd be a good time. I still feel extremely bullish that I think the playstyle that I'm working on is the future. And like, is it going to be a process of hammering out kings? Yes, and Set 25 has made it a bit weird in the meantime, but it is still ever extremely promising. And so, yeah, I need to stop getting distracted by trying to get defense holes with Set 25, I think, and just fully devote myself back to the cheeser killer stuff. Because right now, yeah, having one foot in both pools is setting a weird temperature that I don't really like. I don't like finishing a GAC board and feeling like disgusted because it's just like, wow, these are some really strong teams that I did not use on offense and I did not use on defense, and what are we doing here?
Yeah, an increasing problem that we'll expect to worsen in 5 versus 5 as adding new teams. And now think about that with the influx of how I don't know how much these era characters that we're part of are going to be featured on a Kyber 1 5 versus 5 board, but Yeah, that problem's only going to get worse, unaided
So
by itself.
to me, it's actually not a problem. The problem that I have is I just feel deeply uncomfortable with going ahead and spending teams, especially on like a bottom front wall. It's just like it's still ingrained in me that like I should use the cheapest thing. I should hold as many options as possible, and very much increasingly, it's like, no, man, you got to come to grips with the fact that certain teams have best matchups where they are best performant, and you need to recognize that you already have enough coverage elsewhere. You just need to give yourself permission to do the damn thing on the most teams possible and just ball out as hard as you can. And so to that end, like, I think part of why the stuff that I've been working on has been so promising is because it allows the game to scale out and to scale wider. Right? Like, I do not personally feel that I need the board to become bigger. And I'm not worried about more teams being introduced because the criteria that I work with is extremely flexible, but also, in my opinion, extremely fair. It's a lot easier for teams to look likable, and it's a lot harder for teams to look unusable. And yeah, no, it's a good time, man. I don't know if it will ever popularize or if other people will give it a shot, but I think it really just makes the game a hell of a lot more fun.
Fair enough. Now, are you going to be doing any of this homework that you said that you got to do here during the off week on stream? Are you going to be streaming anything else? And if so, where's that going to be?
Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV, YouTube.com/The Playbook. I did a stream yesterday going back through all of the marquees of the era, which kind of helped reinform some of the stuff that I talked about today. A lot of those characters are actually pretty decent, and some are actually like potentially pretty good. It's more so just about finding their use case, but I can at least tell you or understand that I take those teams seriously. I will be modding them heading into the next 5v5. And I very much imagine, kind of like Bad Batch, it's just I don't really walk into a week knowing what team I expect a Bad Batch. Is just based on the board they place and based on the teams that I have sitting around. I know that naturally I will gravitate towards filling in a hole where I needed to, whether it's Pirate King Hondo or Bad Batch or Stranger or whatever. And I think Afra, if she's not on defense, which she might be, will be very similar in that respect of just like, you seem like you can kill this squad for me, and I don't really want to spend anything else there. So go with God. Do the thing. Yeah, looking forward to it. I was planning to stream tonight, but holy shit, my schedule is packing up real quick. It may not be tonight, or it might be. We will see. I have to figure some of the stuff out real quick after we finish this up. If it's not tonight, then it'll probably be tomorrow night.
Great. Well, we'll be looking forward to it. Keep an eye out for you. Thank you. And of course, thanks to all of my co-hosts for their time in making the show. Appreciate you, and thank you guys for watching. I will be live at some point here during the off week, probably, West and/or TB and chill stream. I like to do that in the later rounds where it's actually going to take a while to go through that. So stay tuned. If you want to find out more about that, that'll be at my Discord. Let me drop the link. It's also on my channels. It's not hard to find, but there you go. And of course, you can find me live here at twitch.tv/Tassenix. I'm also live from my YouTube channel, Tassenix Gaming, where if you've not been there before, check it out. A whole bunch of Slugger-related content over there that you might be interested in. Stuff like the, how-to mod guide series for developing your mods from scratch. The how-to hot utils. If you're a hot utils patron, you can use that automate feature. Get the skinny on that from TJ, who really does a lot of work with that. Gosh, all my Grand Arena VODs with chapters added, so much more. It's also a re-hosting site for this very podcast, Plotting and Scheming, but wherever you catch an episode, check the description. There is a link that you can use to plug it into your preferred podcast program and follow us that way. Anything that you enjoy over there on YouTube, please hit like, hit subscribe to the channel to see more, follow on Twitch, all great ways to support the channel for free. Very much appreciate your support. If you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, there are a few ways to support the channel. First, there is Cash App, that is $Tassenix. I have a PayPal, which is tassenix@gmail.com. And yeah, I see you there. Hey, glad you enjoyed the show, Swiggle Player. Yeah, I saw a couple others further up the line. Yeah, you guys are very welcome. Very welcome. Glad you enjoyed. But yeah, the PayPal's tassenix@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to get some enhanced Grand Arena scouting power for yourself, early access to plotting and scheming, of course, a few other benefits besides, you may be interested in checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/Tassenix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. At $5 a month, you enter the Task House at VIP access level, where you get early access to plotting and scheming. That is coming out to our general audience, 8 a.m. on Fridays, but patrons have it as early as Monday or Tuesday night, within hours of recording, giving you that early edge going into the first round of the week. Wow, that is a But anyways, yeah, in addition to the early access to the show, of course, we do have the occasional patron exclusive that I'll make, especially at Quest. But you'll have it at least a month ahead of the general public, and of course, dedicated text and voice chat on Discord, where I'm usually lurking. So pop on in and say hi. Thank you to all of my patrons here in VIP access. You guys are very much appreciated. And we recently crossed the threshold. I do have 50 patrons now on the channel, so really appreciate you guys helping us cross that milestone. All right, next on up at the $10 a month tier is VIP Access Plus, where you get a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. OmegaBot's that tool that I highlight at the start of all of my Grand Arena streams. It's the one with the graphs that give you an easily understood sense of your opponent's offensive. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of Grand Arena history, but only patrons can build out a custom report with any number of weeks. Get a downloadable HTML version of that report with links that you click, taking you right back into swigga.gg or Insight, whichever you're using. Data pre-sorted. Save more time on your scout. Alternatively, you might go for the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili subscription, which is your #1 tool for mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between your Grand Arena, TB, TW, and raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster using a powerful automation feature. Slice through hundreds of mods in seconds, help out your guild and TW, so much more. No wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you to all my supporters at this tier. And of course, at VIP Access Premium, that is $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So, Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils all under one subscription. Just going out and getting these two bots anywhere else costs the same as this triple bundle, which is why so many of my patrons say it's one of the best values in the game. Thank you, all of you guys, so much. We got a lot of people in here these days, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the double bot power so much. All right, and of course, at the top of the list in Jester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, a madman who pops into stream from time to time and goes crazy, dropping hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, incredibly generous support over the years. Thank you so much. Man. And of course, to Pills, who follows in the steps of Nomads, showing up mostly towards the end of my streams. And again, just starting to go crazy. 10 subs gifted here, 100 there. Never really know what to expect, but it's always generous and it's always appreciated. Thank you. Much, Bill. Special thanks goes out to the Lost Swamp Rat, one of my patrons who's gone above and beyond the Call of Duty, helping me behind the scenes with all manner of technical issues, whether that's with Stream Deck, OBS, even helps out some of the other patrons and friends that pop into chat there. So appreciate you, Womp Rat. You're awesome. Oh yeah, for sure, Roar. That's an undisclosed benefit. I think it's kind of implied, but since I'm usually hanging out in the voice chat, yeah, if you're a Grand Arena fan wanting to talk shop, man, yeah, hop on in. Yeah, but next one out to Mrs. T, my wife. Thank you for all you do in the background, whether that's bringing me something to eat or drink while I'm live on stream, or just keeping our daughter from tearing the house apart while I'm trying to be the very best like was at a phone game. I sure do appreciate you. Of course, again, to my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, as always, it is a pleasure and a privilege to record our show. You know, despite traffic jams, the pressures of work and family, whatever the case might be, you guys still made it once more. And I think we'd all agree it's a worthwhile effort because I learned from every episode. I'm sure you guys occasionally feel the same. But regardless, it's not about us. It is about the viewers, the listeners that are tuning in. Because, yeah, we are making a difference for their games, guys. It is rare that a day goes by that I don't get some type of DM comment thanking us for something that they picked up from our show. They were able to apply it, help them win their round. We are making the difference that we wanted to do with this show. So thank you guys so much for being part of it. Wouldn't change it. All right. That wraps up the show. Let's go ahead, since we are live, to raid you guys out, starting with the YouTube side. Hope you guys enjoyed, though. This is always fun doing these live episodes here to wrap up the season. It's a good time. Yeah, by the way, patrons also get the privilege of putting questions in on the preview episode. So when we have this in-between episode next week, patrons get to put in questions that take up a segment, just like what we did with the public today to wrap up the season. That's another, I guess, benefit that I could have mentioned. All right. Who is live? Anyone for Galaxy? For any reason at all? Like it. So I think your guys, I think YouTube folks are going to fall into the abyss when this wraps up. Appreciate you, though, tuning in. And let's see what's up on Twitch. Wow. There is fun. There's like, I like following. How about following? Who am I following? I mean, I can send you to Hup Saya for StarCraft. How's that sound? How's that sound? That make your day? Let's go ahead and set that up. There's literally nobody live for Swugga. All right. Starting up the raid. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a fun episode. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, Womp Rat's a real help. All right. Been a couple more seconds for that raid to form up. And yeah, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was a surprisingly entertaining season with no Rhodiums in it. So, you know, even though the rank situation is a bit scuffed for the still a good time. And until our next video, it's been real. It's been awesome. Been real awesome. Take care.